everybody, just letting you guys know we're having some technical issues with Skype. We're gonna be going live very soon. Glad you guys are in the chat. Thank you very much, and we'll be seeing you guys soon.
You are listening to Trophy Horse with your hosts, Tricky Mick, Alex, I Yield to No One,
Steve,
and Sid.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trophy Wars. I'm your host, Tricky Mick. This is episode, I don't know, because 561. Also, me, the man, the myth, the legend. It's Alex.
You know, some people go to a house of worship to pray to a certain deity. Over here, I go to the Church of the Line Gun to pray to Isaac Clarke's delicious, destructive machine, the Line Gun.
I don't even know. Coming back against my objections this week is Mr. Joe Priestley.
so nice. Had to run it back twice. Hey guys, what's good?
Start calling him Mahi Mahi.
And it's my brother from another mother. It's my Division 2 running mate. He's my second in command in my clan. It's Mr. Tross. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you? Glad to be on the show. Hopefully, we actually get some stuff for next week.
Yes, we're supposed to get an announcement tomorrow.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see.
Now, I don't understand. When you say that Tross is your brother from another mother, is that an insult, Tricky?
No, it's definitely not an insult.
I should say, you know, association with Tricky sometimes is seen as an insult, so.
See, this is what I have to deal with, Tross. This is what I tell you every week I have to deal with.
I think it's hilarious.
I'm sure you do. All right, before we start the show proper, we have an update from Sid. Normally do Sophie's Trophies later, but we're going to do it early in the show. So before we even get involved in the show, let's do the update from Sid.
Hello again, my friends. How are we all? It's me back again with another Sophie's Trophies. But this week, guys, I haven't got a game. I'm going to explain something to you guys. A while back, I changed my account. I had a new account, which was Sidney, and I played through Arkham Asylum, which I did a Sophie's Trophies for. Then I did 30 hours of Elden Ring, and started playing various other games like Oceanhorn, Arkham City, Dark Souls 3, things like that. And you know what, guys? I really wanted to play old games again. I did. But the games I wanted to play, they're too bloody big. You're looking 30, 40 hours easy for each of them. And I have a wife and a child, or 3 children. You know, I'm at work. I don't get that much time. So this is just to let you know, guys. The reason I haven't recorded lately is I've just been a bit busy. I haven't really played anything new. I've been playing older games. And also to say I am back on my old account. The reason for this is twofold. One is, like I've just said, these older games, they are huge, they take time. And I thought, what the hell am I doing? You know, I've worked hard getting through a lot of games. I've done a lot of spam. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the bigger games. Earned a lot of trophies on some of these bigger games, and I just thought to myself, why am I putting myself through this? Why am I doing Dark Souls again, or Dark Souls 3, when there's not many people online to do it, and you have to do some online things with it? Why am I putting myself through Batman Arkham Asylum, City, you know, playing that through twice again, getting the 400 Riddler trophies? It just seems to me I was cutting off my nose to spite my face, I think. I wanted to play some older games. But, I'll be honest, there are plenty of new games, and there are plenty of older games I haven't gotten the platinum in yet, so I could go back and revisit some of those. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know, guys. Let me know what you think. I think I've made the right choice here. There's too much on the line, there's too many games I've played, too many trophies I've earned, that sort of thing. And I just don't have time. But I will be back next week, guys, to talk about a game, because I will play something that I haven't done before, hopefully. So, yeah, keep getting those trophies, guys. Bye.
Alright, so Alex, we got the original Sid back.
Yeah, I respect when somebody wants to change their account and like maybe try to focus on like you want to focus on completion percentage, and you've done, gone through so many games that going back to some is impossible, so your completion percentage is kind of stuck at a certain point. And if you want to skip it over to another account and start anew, I get that, but I also get like that I've been Raise Havoc since day one, and I've had the same trophy list and account since day one. So like I put way too much work into this account to like try to jump to something else. So while I in turn do understand why somebody else might do it, I also completely like Sid's logic is my logic, where it's like I've done so much on this one account, I can't just walk away from it, So that's the way that I feel about it.
All right, so I kind of figured that's what you were going to say. So I have a question for you, Alex, and you can't cheat. Okay? Do you know the last game that you did not get 100% or the platinum in?
On my list?
Yes.
Streets of Rage 4.
No.
That I didn't 100%?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That you didn't get the platinum for?
Like timeline on my list, right? Like from top to bottom, most recent games played, right? Or are you talking about like date wise, when the game was released?
I'm talking the last game that you played that you did not get the platinum in.
Oh, the last game I played that I didn't get the platinum in. I thought we were talking about 100%.
Well, I'm sorry. I meant 100%. I meant platinum, but 100% same thing.
Well, there's 3 games that I could think that I didn't get 100% in, but I got the platinum in all of them. That was Ghost of Tsushima, Concrete Genie, and Streets of Rage 4. Platinum's not 100%. I think, I'm trying to think what the last game I didn't get a platinum trophy in was. Because on the PS5, I've been pretty successful about like converting everything to a platinum trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a PS4 game?
It is, and I will tell you the last trophy that you earned in the game was January 10th, 2021.
Will you give me the name of the last trophy that I earned in that game, or like a name of a trophy in that game?
I think that would be too easily. Let's see.
Well, I mean, find one that's not like.
Yeah, I'm looking
like
right now.
Completely obvious. Because like maybe somebody can remember what they played back in January 2021. Like 2021, I played Concrete Genie and Control. I started those games in 2021, but I can't remember.
How about I give you a trophy that you
Sea of
did?
Solitude was also 2021, but I did get the platinum trophy in that.
How about I give you a trophy that you did not earn in the game?
Okay.
Overachiever.
Oh God. I feel like I should know this, but it's just not coming to mind. Yeah, I don't know. You're going to tell me.
Crash Bandicoot 4.
Yeah, which to be fair, I think is a pretty reasonable one not to get the platinum trophy in, because no one ever says that platinum trophy is fun. Everyone always just says how terrible that platinum trophy is. So
yeah,
but I did get enough. I did get enough of those trophies to feel like I accomplished in that game, because I got some of the hardest trophies of the game, just not like the ghosts or beat the dev times to get that relic. And
you need 3 more trophies to get the platinum.
So, and well, that's going to stay that way forever, because I may go back. Like I bought Mass Effect 3 for $5 at a local game shop, and I'm going to go back and play that this year and get a platinum trophy on that at some point. So I'm willing to go back and play games to get the trophy, but that's one. That and Vanquish. Like I looked at Vanquish because they re-released it on the PS4, and I looked at like, well, did they change the trophy list? Because I went through all that game, got to the last tactical challenge, the 6th one, and lost my save data because my PlayStation 3 died. The original PlayStation 3 died, and I'm like, well, maybe the platinum trophy is a little easier to get on the 4. No, it's the exact same. It's 9.5 out of 10. It's hard as balls. So no, there's just some games I'm not going to go back to, because I can eat the loss. I can take the the 80-something%, the 90%. I'm fine with that.
All right.
But to be fair, that's pretty impressive, because what Crash was like, like you said, it released in 2020 and came out in 2021. So
yeah. All right. So while we're on the trophies, Tross, We have to ask people to come on the show for the first time. Do you have any shameful platinums?
I do not. I actually earn my games. I don't do rat plats.
Joe, stop laughing.
Listen, you know what? I'm glad that Sid was able to purify himself in the lake of trophy purity and abstain and purify himself from the trophy trash that he put on his account for years.
And then now he's back. So what do you have to say now?
Listen, I think it's pressure. It's too much peer pressure.
Too much peer pressure. So Tross, do you know your platinums?
I don't know all. I only have 8, and I don't know all. I know one of them is God of War Ragnarok.
Yes.
I'm pretty proud of that one. Miles Morales, the 2 Spider-Man games.
Correct.
And I got Division.
Yeah, both Divisions.
Division 2. And I don't know the other 3.
Batman Enemy Within.
Okay.
Batman the Telltale series. And the game that fucking deserves a sequel, The Order 1886.
Oh, yeah, that game. It does deserve a sequel.
Alright, so before we go too far into this, let's do our updated trophy count. I didn't update this. I don't know if this is accurate. Alex, do you have your trophies? I know you're not in the agenda. Why look up mine?
Why would you ever think that I'm not in the agenda, Tricky?
Because you're never in the agenda and you just popped in right now.
I am level 471 with a total trophy count of 8,479 with a platinum count of 138. That's not right. Is it right?
I didn't update this.
Okay, well, I'm going to say 139 and 138 games. I did get a platinum trophy this week.
Okay.
You're just trying to screw me over.
I outright said I didn't update the agenda. And since you're not in the agenda, I know you look on your phone.
This is what happened when Yield's not here. Shit falls apart.
Yes. I am level 831, total trophies of 25,147 with 672 platinums. According to PSN profiles, I don't know your total trophies, but you have 139 platinums. So, and you're level 472.
Yes, and I earned that shit.
As I quickly look up yield, wow, you're right. We don't have yield. Shit falls apart.
But you didn't even remember the episode number.
Well, to be fair,
and we go up by 1 increment every week.
Well, to be fair, and I'm just, this is totally not a justifiable excuse. You guys didn't send me the agenda from last week when I wasn't on the show. So when I went to do the agenda for this week, I actually labeled this 560 first. And then realized, oh shit, they never sent me the agenda last week. Yield is level 488, total trophies of 9,187 with 163 platinums. Sid is level 826 with 705 platinums. I don't know his total trophies because I didn't look that up quick enough. Joe, you did put yours in the agenda.
No, I'm on level 458 with a total trophy count of 10,229 trophies and 32 platinums.
And you have any shameful ones, sir?
Oh, tons, dude, tons.
Wait, you just talked about the Lake of Purity.
Listen, I didn't say
trophies.
I didn't say that I prescribe to that Lake of Purity. I just said it exists.
Would you say that you don't visit the island of relevancy? Why can't I say that word? I was trying
Relevancy?
I was trying to do a Roman Reigns joke.
Listen, I don't visit the island of Rat Spamity as you do every week, but I would say that I try to keep it as clean as possible. I mean, I did play those 2 pinball games, Pinball Hero for PS4 and PS5 this week, so that's my 2 new platinums that I have this week. But other than that, I haven't gotten a spam platinum since I Am Mayo 3.
And what a quality game. Tross, what about you, sir?
Great.
I am level 290 with a total trophy count of 2,593 and 8 platinums.
And we just went over your 8 platinums.
Mm-hmm.
And because we're not going to do the update live with Gareth, it's going to be plugged in later in the show. I will say that your rarest trophy is On the Ball from Star Wars Battlefront that has a 4.39 rarity.
Nice. I know I'm not doing very well on that.
Yeah, Gareth likes to call you out. Gareth wasn't even sure you were in the contest for a while.
Well, things have been going on personally, like trying to prepare for a baby and all that, so that's been taking a lot of my time.
Yes, congratulations. Tross, has a baby on the way.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so let's get into what we're playing. Alex, we'll start with you. What have you been playing, sir?
Well, Tricky, thanks for asking what my new platinum was in. Nice to know you care.
Nobody cares.
Everybody cares.
If it's not rat spam, nobody cares.
Look, I cannot be as fast as getting these platinums as Mark Duplex, because credit to Mark Duplex, I think he's already got the Hogwarts Legacy Platinum Trophy, so he's a madman. But I do believe I'm the second person in our group, unless Rick has gotten it. I don't know, Rick maybe have it, but I got through it. I finished the impossible mode in Dead Space and got that platinum trophy, so I'm very happy about that. I will say again, the plasma cutter and line gun are a dynamic duo in that game, and the force gun will help you through certain scenarios. So if anyone's trying to do that run, that impossible run, don't believe anyone that says the pulse rifle is good. It's crap. Don't use it. Line gun, plasma cutter. Focus on your rig, and you're good. And then, for some of the later levels, like 10, 11, 12, carry the force gun so you can, shotgun blast people out of your face to create some room. But last few notes on Dead Space, because I know I've talked about it for like a month now. But like for anyone who played the original, like it's kind of mind blowing, because I mentioned some of the changes they made in the remake and like how this is like a definitive remake and this is what everyone should aspire to be, because there are so many changes that I didn't even realize. Like they made changes to like the secondary functions of the guns. They made changes to the boss fights. Like the boss fight at the end of Chapter 6, they added 0G gravity to. So like they just, and like the 8th blaze, the boss at the end of Chapter 8, they completely replaced it and redid that to fit better in the story and to make it just more fun to do. So EA Motive did some fantastic work on this game. I love Dead Space. It's so much fun. And even like there's some cool secrets in there, because there are certain areas, there's a break room in the game where you can go to enter codes to get like extra notes and stuff like that. But one of the things they have in there is you enter a code and it does like a sea shanty. It sings a sea shanty about the Ishimura and people coming to save people from the Ishimura. So there's just these really cool like Easter eggs that they threw in there that just made me respect EA Motive even more. So as much as people shit on EA, they've at least got Motive, and Motive's out there doing good work. Aside from my usual Rocket League, I just started Heavenly Bodies last night, which is one of those PS Plus games we've gotten recently. And look, it's a well-made game, but I think this is the last physics-based game in space I'm ever going to play, because it is frustrating as hell. I spent 2 hours on the first chapter, and most of that was just trying to finish one of the end-game challenges on the level for trying to use a tennis racket to pry open an airlock, and just the physics of it just make it, and me floating around in space, like it was just so frustrating to me. I don't know why. Some people, you go online, some people say I did that in 20 seconds, and other people are like, I spent 2 hours on this, I don't know how to do it. So, there are some rare trophies to this, which is why I decided to play it. And also, it's a different game than I usually play, and it's free, so hell, why not go ahead and try it? But I think that this is one of those games where people will want to push through or immediately be turned off just because of the physics and how frustrating the controls can be. Because there's just some points where I was playing last night and it's just like, I'm about ready to throw this fucking controller. I'm just so frustrated. But be warned, as soon as you start the game, you get a trophy. So if you're going to play that game and you care about your completion percentage, you're going to have to play from the very start. You're going to get a trophy at the very beginning. So be forewarned about that. But like I said, it's a well presented game. Like I like the presentation. It's it's well made. It's just if you're not used to physics based gameplay, it's just extremely frustrating at times. So just be warned about that. And then I did download a bunch of games because I upped to PlayStation Plus Premium. Thanks, Tricky. I did download a bunch of games that I have not yet played. Chicory is one of the games I downloaded because I just really want to play that game. And then I can't remember what the others were. One of them was the Cartoon Network Battle Crashers game, because I don't know if anyone's looked at that trophy list on PSN Profiles, but a hell of a lot of ultra rares in that. And I don't know why, because it doesn't seem to be a very particularly hard platinum trophy. I don't know if it's not a game I would normally play, and I don't know if I really want to play it just for the rare trophies, because I don't know if anyone's looked at the update recently. I mean, well, everyone looks at Gareth's update, but me see Goatsalot is kind of running away with this thing, and I know that I'm never going to be me see Goatsalot, so I'm starting to wonder. It's like, yeah, go for games that have rare trophies, but I may not be going for something like Cartoon Network, Battle Crashers, just because I'm obviously not going to win. So I might temper my expectations for that competition. But Bug Snacks was another game I downloaded. So downloading some of the stuff for PlayStation Plus Premium, and going forward, I'll have some thoughts on PlayStation Plus Premium, the Classics catalog, all that. Yeah, I mean, like the Classics catalog is more than just like PS1 games. It's also a lot of PS3 games, like Darksiders War Mastered Edition is on there. You got the Sly Cooper games on there. So I mean, there's a lot of games to choose from. So as I dig deeper, I'll give you more of a definitive answer as to whether or not PlayStation Premium is worth it. But I've got it for 2 years now. So here we go. You'll have plenty of time to hear me talk about it. But yeah, that's all I've been playing. It's pretty much finishing up Dead Space, usual Rocket League, and then jumping into Heavenly Bodies.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, I didn't play too much this week, honestly. I just started The Last of Us 2.
Good game.
I am blown away at how beautiful this game is. Like, I started it up and I was like, am I playing a PS5 game? Because this looks like a PS5 game. And I'm like, why does this game look 10 times better than half the shit that came out this year? Like,
Well,
let's be real.
To be fair, I think I don't know, and I may be just talking about. I think they actually upscaled it for the PS5.
I don't know, man, but it's gorgeous. Like, it's an absolutely gorgeous game.
It is.
Like, I am blown away at how, and just Naughty Dog games in general, just on another level. Like, I only think like Santa Monica is like almost on that same plateau as them, and maybe Guerrilla Games, but there's not a lot of developers, maybe Capcom too, that are making games that really push the boundaries of these consoles, like to the limit, as far as like graphical fidelity and
Sir.
Uh-oh.
I forgot Sucker Punch and Ghost of Tsushima, because that game looks fucking incredible.
Oh yeah, true. I'm sorry. You know what? I always forget them. Insomniac does really good work too. That's actually another shout out. Insomniac, Crash and Clank. Look.
To be fair, these are all first party studios too.
Exactly, and you know what? That's my main point. It's like they're harnessing the power of the PlayStation.
It's easy to do when you could literally turn to the developer of the system and go, "Hey, how does this work?"
I mean, Capcom's doing it, and they seem to be doing it on all fronts on every console. So they seem to crack the code somehow, and they're doing their thing. But I have to say, The Last of Us 2 is just blowing me away, and I've been playing that. I'm about like 2.5 hours into it. I'm like chapter 7 or 8 already, and I'm going through the guide because I want all the collectibles because there's only like 26 trophies, and I'm gonna try and bang them out, except for the 2 grounded trophies in one playthrough. I'm not messing around. So,
all right, is that it?
Other than that, yeah, I didn't really play much. I played a little bit of Gotham Knights. Kind of digging that. It's a little slower, I think, compared to the other Gotham games, but I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm gonna have to play it a little bit more to give my like ultimate impressions on it. I don't like the combat system as much as I like the combat system in the older games, and that's a problem for me because that combat system was so good. I don't even know why they touched it. It makes no sense to me. Like, why would you touch the combat system? That's just flawless. It's one of the best combat systems in any game, period. And you're like, let's change it.
Yeah. All right.
Probably, my guess is they wanted to differentiate themselves enough from Arkham, so they didn't feel like they didn't want you to feel like, my guess is, because as Tricky said, and Daryl said too, that's not an Arkham game. It doesn't feel like an Arkham game, so they probably wanted to change it up so it wasn't another Arkham game.
It doesn't have Batman. That's enough differentiation for me. I'm like, you don't play as Batman. You don't need to change your control scheme too. Let's keep the controls the same. Like, stop fucking with my shit.
Well,
like, just leave it the same.
All right. Well, to be fair, that control scheme is kind of associated with Batman. So if you're not gonna play as Batman, you have to change it because these guys are not fighting the same way Batman would fight. So change it. I agree with you. The controls were a little janky, but I personally justified it and say, well, I'm not fighting as Batman, so things are going to change.
I mean, at least they made changes to the game. It's not Madden 23 where, it's the same game every year.
All right. Tross, what about you, sir? What have you been playing?
Oh, I've just been playing 2 games. I've just been playing Hogwarts Legacy, which is an amazing game. If you are a big Harry Potter fan, please play this game. There's so much to do. It's ridiculously how good this game is. And
what's your house? What house do you have?
I picked the generic Gryffindor just because.
Uh-oh. Joe's shaking his head at you.
Huh?
Joe is shaking his head at you.
No, I know.
Slytherin for life, baby.
I know. I'm going to do Slytherin in my next playthrough. I'm not going to lie.
Wait, what'd you say, Joe?
Slytherin for life.
Oh, you both would be disappointments to Sweet Mama D.
She Hufflepuff or Ravenclaw?
She's Hufflepuff all the way.
All right.
That's
all right.
fine. And then
Yeah, I knew they would be on my side, Tricky. Hufflepuff all the way.
Well,
No,
I'm
no.
actually a Hufflepuff in real life. Like, yeah, I took that quiz or whatever, and they housed me as a Hufflepuff. But I don't know. I just decided to do Gryffindor. I don't know. Just the generic. And then down the Dead Space path. And just to go off what Alex was saying, it's an amazing remake. Dead Space is one of my favorite games of all time. And EA, they need to give Motive either more remakes or give them like a raise, give them whatever staff they need, because they did such a good job with that game.
Well, I saw an article that says the remake for Dead Space 2 and Dead Space 3 heavily depends on the sales of the Dead Space 1 remake.
I mean, sales numbers talk to themselves. I mean, it's such a good game.
Well, just keep sales numbers out of Square Enix because, every game they make is apparently a disappointment. All right, so an update here. Dupes does not have the Hogwarts Legacy Platinum. He is one trophy away, and there might be bad news for him. Because the one trophy he doesn't have is called Collector's Edition, which is complete all the collections.
Oh, jeez. It's
And
like 680-something collectibles.
He has 602 of 603. So apparently he missed one somewhere and apparently abandoned the game. Either that or glitched out on him. But that's the only trophy he's missing, and he's missing one collection. So. Alright, so the only thing I've been playing all week is... What have I been playing all week? I tried Elden Ring. I was getting tutored by Matt G. I played a little bit of Division 2, waiting for the update tomorrow to find out what's going on for Tuesday. And I think that's it.
How'd your tutoring session go? I want to hear more about this. Expand on this.
It went fine, but all right. So my problem with Elden Ring, and I
Is that
assume
you're not good at it?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, same.
Jesus Christ, I hate all three of you.
No, I mean, that's not really an insult because, quite frankly, I would say that I'm not good at those games. Like, you have to play a certain amount of those games to become good at them. And even within the universe, like, the combat plays out differently. Like, Bloodborne plays faster than some of the Dark Souls games. So even if you play some of those games, you're still going to have to kind of change up how you play when you play the other games. Like, I don't think because if I play Bloodborne that I can just go jump in any of the other games and be in Sekiro and be just fine, because I know I wouldn't. So it's not really an insult to say you're not good at it, Tricky, because quite frankly...
No, but that was your go-to, all three of you, real quick. Oh, you're just not good at it. No, my problem with Elden Ring, and Matt kind of made fun of me after our tutoring session, is when you start the game, I think there should be a difficulty curve. It shouldn't be hard as balls, one shot by the first enemy you come across. I think what they should do is have the game be hard, have it be somewhat difficult, but not be so hard that I can't even progress out of the first area without doing 3-4 hours of grinding first. Especially since they don't explain exactly what you're supposed to be doing. I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to grind. I'm going to, but I think there should be difficulty level, say, start out at 5. And then ramp it up a little bit as you progress in the game. So you do have to do a little grinding, later in the game to get powerful enough to beat an enemy. But to start the difficulty at a 9 right off the start, I think it's just way too high. It's not fun for me. Like, I don't mind grinding. I don't mind doing the work, but it's just, to me, it's just way too hard right out the gate.
It's either get good or grind in that game. That's literally like you either get good and you learn how to play the game, or you grind. You grind.
Right, but my point is that you like. I
get
think
good from dying though. Like that's how it works, Tricky. You get good from playing the game. It's one of those games where you have to experience it to learn it, to get better at it, to then progress in the game.
But I think all four of us would agree that a game has to grab you first.
Oh, that game grabs you. It murders you, and then
immediately.
it brings you back to life, and it murders you again, and brings you back to life. It grabs you. The enemies literally grab you, and they kill you. It grabs you. It does what it wants you to do. You just don't like the fact that it's balls to the wall difficult. And I think that just has to deal with like the culture of gaming that we live in and that we've grew up in. It's like it's either, not even we grew up in, just modern gaming in general, where it's a lot of hand-holding, a lot of telling you where to go. There's markers everywhere, points you in the direction you need to go, and there are difficulty spikes in games, or things ramp up as you go. It's not just balls to the wall difficult.
Yeah, but
I feel like this game takes you back to Nintendo difficulty, Tricky.
Yeah, this is Battletoads difficulty right out the gate. And I think we can all agree that if that level in Battletoads was the very first level in Battletoads, nobody would be playing Battletoads, even talking fondly of it now.
I don't think it's a fair comparison because you can at least save and they checkpoint you in Elden Ring. They don't do that in Battletoads. You have a certain amount of lives, and you die. You go back to the beginning. So, but I'll do a PlayStation-owned, a PlayStation proprietary game that does the same thing. Returnal. Returnal's first boss, Frike, is notoriously one of the most difficult first bosses in most video games. They put you up against that wall, like they did in Bloodborne with Father Gascoigne. They say, here is what you're going to contend with throughout this game. Decide if you want to play it now or not. And they stonewall you, and you either get through it or you don't. But that boss is one of the harder bosses in all of the game. Like, there are bosses that come after it that are easier than that boss. But they, from the very beginning, let you know what's up. And I respect them for being like, this is the way that our games work, and this is the way they're going to continue to work, because that's all the games in the I'm sorry, I can't remember the developer for some stupid reason, but
From Software.
Yeah, From Software. Sorry, but Father Gascoigne, easily one of the hardest bosses in Bloodborne, harder than the final boss of the fucking game, and that's just the way they develop.
I don't think he's that hard. I think.
He's harder than the final boss.
People are not patient though, and like that's there's like two types of players for like Soulsborne games. Is like people who rush in and then just die because they want to attack, and they don't want to be tactical. And then there's people who take their time and like learn basically learn the ins and outs of how to dodge and use every weapon at your disposal for different ranges and different attacks. And then if you become a magic user, like that has different qualities and different things that you can do. It's Elden Ring is a great game. I haven't played enough of it, unfortunately, because I just have gaming ADHD where like I'm all over the place, like a scatterbrained child, like a 5-year-old child in a candy shop who's like, I want to play this, I want this, I want this, I want that, and I'm just all over the place. Like I can't keep myself like locked down to one specific thing. But I can say, Tricky, one of the most gratifying feelings I've ever had as a gamer is when I beat Bloodborne.
Well, Joe, I have a soundbite here that because you say that you have ADHD when it comes to gaming, I have a soundbite here that I've been dying to use on somebody. So when you're gaming, this is the advice I have for you.
Focus, you moron!
Thank you. But I would say it was so gratifying to beat Bloodborne. Like, so gratifying. And each boss you beat, even, like, each boss put up a wall, and then you knock down the wall, and you move to the next wall. And you just figure out how to take that wall down. Piece by piece, brick by brick by brick. And it's just very rewarding. And I don't think there's a lot of games out there that do that. But I can say with like Returnal, Alex, the only thing that I find interesting about Returnal is they went back and they were like, here, we put an accessibility mode in, we put an easy mode in. Now you can play it at a different difficulty. If you struggled, now you can beat it very easily.
All right. Tross, did that sound like getting a little chuckle out of you?
Yeah. And just to piggyback, I did beat Elden Ring, and just to go off what Joe was saying, it's the most gratifying thing in the world to beat a boss. After you've been like, I mean, the most famous boss there is Melania, the Blade of Mikola. I died. It took me like 2 weeks to beat her, just dying and beating my head against the wall. But once you finally do it, it's like, that's the most hype I've ever been in gaming. So I'm just telling you right now, in Elden Ring, you just have to grind. Even if you're like the highest level ever, you're still going to have to grind.
I don't mind grinding. It's just, I don't know, like, it's beating your head against a wall before the game even grabbed me. And I went into the game because everybody was saying, oh, you got to play Elden Ring. I get it, okay? So I tried it, but if it's not going to grab me, like, like my motivation to grind is not there. That's what I'm trying to get. It's like I don't mind grinding, but why am I grinding for a game that hasn't grabbed me yet? Like, why am I putting my time into this? Why don't I just go back to the Division and start running the Dark Zone? It's at least I'm powerful in the Dark Zone where I stand a chance.
Yeah, and the key thing is like what Joe said. You just got to be patient. You grind, you patient. There's two type of players. They run in there, try to beat them in one hit, or the one that's going to take. It's going to be like an hour boss fight. And you just got to be patient. And every time you die, you just learn from that mistake. And that's the whole point of the game. Is just learning from your mistakes, and you just keep trying and keep trying, and then eventually you end up beating it.
All right. Well,
I do have a question for Joe. Since, so the Father Gascoigne thing, and we may not see eye on this, but is there any other boss in that game that they give you an item, in this case the music box, that makes that boss is basically a workaround for that boss? Because that makes that boss obviously significantly easier. And yeah, they put it in there for story, but also I think they put it in there because they realized how hard that boss was, and they said, you know what, we're going to give people a workaround if they want to take. Now you can also call for help online. You can get a second player in there to help you beat him, but the music box, I think, is in there as a workaround for how hard Gascoigne is.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head, and I just beat that game, but like I had so much rage when I played that game, and I Twitch streamed it a few times. Like, I would just be cursing up a storm to the point where it was like just obscenity, like trails of obscenities. Like,
despite all his rage, he is still just a Joe in a haze.
Over and over and over again. Like that stupid spider with all the mini spiders. Until I figured out, like, I was like, I just don't want to worry about these small spiders. Sorry, Tricky. We're talking about spiders.
we can talk about them all we want as long as they don't come across the screen.
I didn't want to like kill the little ones, but then I realized, all right, I gotta kill these things, because if I don't, like every time I try to go in and take out the big one, the little ones would just get me. And I was like, all right, we gotta go slow, gotta take our time, gotta kill all these dudes, we gotta dodge a lot. Like, dodging is your best friend. It's your best friend in a Soulsborne game. Learn to dodge. Dodge, 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 dodge. And when you can't dodge anymore, you wait and dodge some more. Because you gotta learn to dodge. You gotta learn to dodge and time your strikes. And then you gotta learn how to, like, get your combos in really quick when there's an opening. You have to... It's like... I think I have an affinity for Souls and Soulsborne games because I play Monster Hunter. And it's similar to where you gotta look for those openings and then take the monster down. So it's like I've learned to be patient in that aspect in another game, and then I kind of carried that skill set over into playing like Soulsborne games. So,
well, if you
I would keep at it, Tricky. I would keep at it.
Well, if you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball.
Apparently.
All right. So speaking of patience, somebody's waited 2 weeks for a response to his YouTube comment. So we're gonna go back. This comment was left on episode 558. Doc Chicken 13 says, agree that The Last of Us is already the best video game adaptation for big or small screen. I say it's a B-tier show, maybe around mid-level The Walking Dead seasons. Let me finish. Its IMDb rating is laughable to me, though. Doesn't belong anywhere near Breaking Bad, The Sopranos, The Wire, Twin Peaks, and dozens of other legendary series. Even current HBO shows like The Succession and The White Lotus blow it out of the water, and The Leftovers is way better post-apocalyptic type series on HBO. That's not to say that I even think it's possible to adapt the story to be elite level stuff. I'm wondering if they'll be able to fix the narrative disaster that was part 2. I'm very skeptical of that even being possible unless they abandon most of what was in that game. Now, Joe, before you go, I'm going to throw the floor to Tross, because I know, Tross, you're also watching The Last of Us, and you're as big a fan as The Last of Us as I am. Mm-hmm. So, what? Now, obviously, don't go into too many spoilers with the show because we have our own Patreon show for that. But what do you think about him saying that The Last of Us isn't really that great, even though it is the best video game adaptation?
Ooh. What are the other shows that he list off? Sorry.
He says nowhere as good as Breaking Bad, The Sopranos, The Wire, Twin Peaks, and dozens of other legendary series. He says even current HBO shows like The Succession and The White Lotus blow it out of the water, and The Leftovers is a way better post-apocalyptic type series.
Okay, I agree with him on the fact that The Sopranos and Breaking Bad, and I'll even throw Sons of Anarchy, or I don't think it's near those legendary types of shows, but it's definitely, I think it's better than The Succession and White Lotus for sure. I think it's a good show. And honestly, they're taking the adaptation of the video game and they're doing such a good job with it. And does it have its bumps? Yes, it has some bumps. So you have to have some, like, I don't know what it's called, the whole believability aspect. There's like a term for it.
Suspension of disbelief?
Yeah, that. Are there some things that you have to do that with? Of course. But if you just, like, take it for what it is, it's a really good show. And as a guy who's a big fan, just like you, Tricky, and I'm sure all four of us are as well, it's just like, it's a good show. It's just a good show. Well, and the acting's really good, too.
Well, Joe's going through part 2 now, so he'll have his opinion on the story of that. Joe, I know you're watching the TV show. What do you think about, is it being overhyped?
No. And it, like, episode 3 is one of the best episodes of a television show I have ever watched in my life.
Well, 3 was the most controversial one.
And it made me care about 2 characters that no one gave a shit about.
Episode 3 was amazing. Sorry to interrupt.
It was absolutely amazing television. And the acting in that episode is going to win so many awards. And it's amazing. Nick Offerman's an amazing actor, and he deserves all the credit in the world for his portrayal as Bill. He was absolutely fantastic. And the story between him and Frank was absolutely beautiful. And I don't care what you believe in, what your belief system are, how you view people. That was just pure bliss on television. It was amazing to watch. It was tear-jerking. It had emotion. It moved you. It was television that moved you, and that's not something you see a lot these days. And I think the whole series as a whole has done that for me. It's grabbed me, as Tricky would say. It's grabbed me. It's made me want to keep watching. Even though I already know what's going to happen, my wife doesn't, which is so cool to watch it through her eyes. And, like, she keeps asking me questions. Is this just like it is in the game? And I'm like, no, not really. Is this just like it's in the game? No, not really. And I'm like, and the no, not really is, like, what I like the most, because yeah, they're taking one season to tell the story of the whole first game, which I already thought was a mistake when the show started. I was like, there's so much in the first game. How can you cover it in 9 episodes? Like, it's not possible, right?
Yeah, that's what me and Daryl were saying. It's like, we did the breakdown of the episodes, and it's like just a snippet of our Patreon shows. There's 3 episodes left.
Yeah, I know.
And the next episode is going to cover the Left Behind DLC.
I know, but, like, how are we tying this all up in 3 more episodes? It's technically 2 more episodes.
Well, and the last 2 episodes, you have to assume, is going to cover the hospital.
It has to. Like, it has to get you there. I mean, it has to. Because they said it's all going to be the first game in 1 season.
Yeah.
And I was like, I liked what they did. I would have loved if they would have made it a 12-episode series instead of a 9-episode series. Gave yourself a little bit more breathing room. But I love what they're doing. And taking a risk like that for the 3rd episode was just... It was great. Well, you took a giant risk with that episode. A giant risk. You're like, hey, we're not even going to include our main characters in this episode, except for, at subtle points within the episode to tie them into the story-wise. But, like, they didn't really... They took a gamble, Tricky. And they're gaining millions of viewers a week. This is the first time HBO just keeps getting more viewers each week for a show. It's crazy.
It's now, before I go to Alex for his opinions, I think, and again, I have no bearing on this. It's just my opinion. I think what they did was they only got greenlit for 9 episodes, and they weren't sure that they would get a second season, so they wanted to make sure they covered the entire first game in the season, so at least it could be if they didn't renew them for a second season, the story would be complete, so to speak. Alex, is the show being overhyped? What do you think?
No, I mean, I think it's a fantastic show, and having people like Neil Druckmann and Evan Wells, who's the co-president of Naughty Dog, he's involved in the show too. So I think that those are keys to success for this show, as well as great acting. They've had great casting. I haven't agreed with every choice or felt like everybody fit the role that they, were portraying. But overall, like, as far as the mainstays, they're fantastic. And I don't know what this person's name was, the username, but I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. So I mean, like, if you think it's overhyped, then that's your opinion. That's cool, and it's completely valid. I disagree though, and I feel like they haven't gone too heavy with the clickers and the bloaters and all that. There's one bloater which makes that bloater feel significant at this point. They haven't gone too overboard with the human versus human fighting, which they're not overdoing things. They're doing small things here and there, but it seems like it makes every episode feel fresh instead of like, okay, well, they're going to go into another building now in another city and they're going to have to fight their way through clickers and stuff. There's not a lot of sameness to every episode, which I appreciate. And the Breaking Bad's really good. I never watched The Sopranos, but I think this show is better than shows like The White Lotus and Succession. Like, I like those shows, and we're caught up on White Lotus. We've seen both seasons. We've watched every episode of Succession, and we're looking forward to the next season that comes out. But I don't think those shows are better than The Last of Us. I mean, Ashley never played the game. She's not particularly like enamored with The Last of Us in the way that we are, but she still wants to watch every episode every week. And she's like every week when it comes time to watch the show, she's like texting me, "Are we watching the show? Are we watching the show?" Because she really enjoys it. As someone who doesn't have a background grounded in the video game, to be wanting to watch it every single week when it comes out shows that they've grabbed a mainstream audience. And like Joe said, it keeps on growing and growing. So no, I think it's a fantastic show. I think it's earned the praise that it's gotten, and the decisions they've made, like the episode 3 where they said that we only do divert from the game if it's what we're going to do is better than what we would do otherwise. So they've made good decisions. And it's been an enthralling show, and they've paid proper respect to the source material. So I don't agree with the comments, but obviously this person's opinion is valid too. If you think The Last of Us is overrated, I get it. That's fine.
All right. One thing before we actually go into our topics and get the show properly started, you guys have all seen all the episodes already, but I was surprised when I found out the bloater was not CGI. It was actually a guy in a suit. They spent $250,000 making that suit for the bloater, and there was actually a guy inside of a suit playing it. It wasn't CGI, which I was surprised about.
It looked good.
It looked damn good.
It looked good if that was not CGI.
All right, so let's get into our topics. As is customary, doing the first episode of the new month. Actually, I said it right this time. PlayStation Plus games for 2023 have been announced. We're going to be getting Minecraft Dungeons, Code Vein, and Battlefield 2042. And also got announced the Games Catalog games, which I'm now scrolling to get to. Okay, well, comment on that while I get the list of the Game Catalog games. What do you guys think? Joe, we'll start with you. What do you think about the monthly games?
I mean, we're getting Battle Trash 2042. Pass. We're getting Minecraft Dungeons, which I heard was a really good game, so I might check that out. And then what was the third one? It was Code Vein. I played Code Vein. Code Vein's really good. It's another Soulsborne type games, Tricky. So you'll like it.
All right,
just for the anime titties, Soulsborne anime titties game.
We don't talk about anime titties. We don't have JT on the show, okay? Tross, what do you think about the monthly games?
I think they're all right. I have playing. I do agree with the Battle Trash. It was very trash when it first came out, but I will say I did pick it up recently because they have made some very significantly good changes, and I'm a huge Battlefield fan, and it's starting to get back to the feel of like how Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 5 felt like. So, if you want to try it out, I think it's going to be good, especially since it's going to be free.
Is there a campaign in that one at all, or is it all just online?
It's all online. But if you're not good with it, they do have this nice thing where it's like you can play like bots. So it'll be you versus all these bots. So it can help you like get accustomed to the game. And what's nice too is you can use those bots to help like upgrade your weapons at the same time. So it's like you're not just playing it just to do nothing.
All right, Alex, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really add any more. I've never played any of these games, and nothing particularly interests me. But, I have made good use of the PlayStation Plus, free games here for the last few months, currently playing one now in Heavenly Bodies. So, I say that they've continued to do a good job in, managing the premium and the extra tiers and still giving out free games for people who are essential. Because, I mean, really, they're going to get a few people for premium. They're going to get some people for extra. But really, the bread and butter for PlayStation Plus is going to be essential because a lot of people just want to play online. People just want to play or get discounts on games. You know, people are fine just getting a couple free games a month. So I think that they've done a good job maintaining the quality of games that have been coming out on Plus Essential. You know, you're not going to like everything that comes out every month. You're not going to want to play everything. You're sometimes you're going to own it, so you may not even get a free game. But you know, there's so many people that play PlayStation that they can't please everybody every month. So,
all right, we're games catalog games we are going to get is Horizon Forbidden West for the PS4 and PS5, The Quarry for the PS4 and PS5, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard for the PS4, Outriders for the PS4 and PS5, Scarlet Nexus for the PS4 and PS5, Borderlands 3 for the PS4, PS5, Tekken 7 for the PS4, Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown for the PS4,
Ricky,
Yes?
those are the ones that came out this month. Those are not next month's.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Oh.
yeah, because Horizon's already available.
Yeah, because the ones that came out this month, or the new ones are the ones that were announced at the State of Play.
Okay, then I feel like a jackass now.
It's okay. Yeah, I probably have to look them up, but yeah, those are the ones that came out because we talked about those last week. I was like, wait a second.
I thought they announced all the games at once.
So they never announced them all at once. This is the first month they've ever done it at the State of Play. They announced them all at once. Usually, you don't get them till the middle of the month that they're going to announce what's coming out the 24th. Of
Okay.
the month.
Well, the State of Play is our topic of the week, so we'll go over that again. I'm sorry, everybody. I screwed up. All right. So let's move on. A little bit of pass-through topic, which I thought was kind of interesting. Assassin's Creed Syndicate is going to get a update for people trying to play it on the PS5. Now, Syndicate is my favorite Assassin's Creed game of all time. But they're finally getting a fix where the flickering issues are occurring on the PS5. So that patch is already out. So if you listen to this and you've had problems playing it on your PS5, you can now go back and get the title update to play it. Which, simple question. I don't want a long conversation about it. What do you guys think about games, getting patches long after you assume everybody stopped playing it? We'll start with you, Tross.
I mean, I think it's a good thing. So that way, I guess you could say old software games can play on the new hardware. So I think it's a good thing. But I will say I did play Syndicate on the PS5, and it was so broken. So this is actually really welcome.
All right.
So I think it's a good thing.
Joe, you have any thoughts on this?
I mean, now I can play Syndicate and it doesn't play like shit, so I'm happy about that. I'm ultimately happy about that because I tried to play it too and it was just trash. I was like, I can't play this.
And Alex, you didn't play Syndicate at all.
No, I mean, after Brotherhood, I stopped playing Assassin's Creed until Origins, so.
Yes. Well, I think they're all available on PlayStation Plus now, Games Catalog. I think all the Assassin's Creeds are available through the Ubisoft partnership. So that's pretty cool. All right, moving on to our next topic.
And also, if they're going to go back and fix problems with a game this late after its release, obviously they still see an audience. They know how many people play the game, so they still see an audience for that game that they don't want to piss off and, turn people off to the litany of Assassin's Creed games they're going to try to release in the next few years, starting with Mirage.
Yeah, well, I actually skipped the Assassin's Creed topic where they tried to give us more details by comicbook.com, which is just a horrible website. Their articles are just trash. I'm sorry, but I skipped an article with them because it was no information other than, hey, they're going to come out with Assassin's Creed Code Red. And that's it. That was their whole thing. Okay, so our next topic coming from IGN and is written by Kat Bailey. Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy has sold more than 12 million units since its debut earlier this month, making it the biggest global launch ever for Warner Brothers games. Hogwarts Legacy sales numbers were revealed alongside Warner Brothers Discovery's earnings, which saw the company lose $2.1 billion. That makes Hogwarts Legacy, which has been controversial itself, a rare bright spot for the company's financials. On top of the large sales figure, Warner Brothers touted $850 million in sales globally and 1.28 million peak concurrent viewers on Twitch, a new record for a single-player game. So, I don't want to get into a big conversation about this, but as the article stated, this is a very controversial game. There was actually a boycott against it for reasons for J.K. Rowling. And obviously the boycott didn't work because this is the biggest launch for them. Sales numbers like this, and again, I don't want to get into like a big, beliefs conversation, but with Hogwarts Legacy selling 12 million units, is this a sign that you can't fuck with what gamers want? Or is this just Harry Potter being too overpowered that everybody wanted to play this? We'll go with you first, Joe.
You can't fuck with Harry Potter. Like, it's just the end all be all. Like, you can't. Like, Harry Potter is what it is. It's a multi-billion-dollar freight train of destruction. Get out of its way, because no matter what it puts out, it's gonna make money. It's just, you put Harry Potter on the cover or the name of it, it's gonna sell. It really is. There's a lot of Harry Potter fans. There's more Harry Potter fans than not Harry Potter fans in this world.
All right. Tross is stepping away from the microphone real quick because his food's getting delivered. So we'll go to you for, next, Alex.
No, I mean, Harry Potter is one of those properties that people obviously have decided to continue to support despite the fact, or despite the things that J.K. Rowling has come out and said. And, I mean, we'd had a big old discussion about this on the show, but people love Harry Potter and people want to continue to support Harry Potter. And for the people who made Harry Potter, I can't remember, Avalanche Studio,
yes,
Portkey Games, all these people that were involved with this game, for them to be rewarded for their hard work, and Warner Brothers, like, you want to see that because not everyone subscribes to what J.K. Rowling believes. So, it's much harder to support one person. Like, you have a musical artist who goes out and does something shitty. It's much harder to continue to support them than an entire mass of people who work on Harry Potter despite what the creator says. So I think people can feel better about supporting, something like Harry Potter versus, like a musical artist, one singular musical artist who's like a solo act that goes out and does something completely terrible. But yeah, I mean, Warner Brothers Discovery, with all the discussions with like AEW, wrestling fans have constantly talked about as how Warner Brothers Discovery is like cutting costs like left and right. They're not playing around with their money anymore. So, or at least they've become a lot more tight-knit about it. So for this game to be a win for them is good, but also there's another game we saw at the State of Play that may be very ominous for a certain studio that a lot of people have had a lot of respect for, but I don't know if we're going to talk about Suicide Squad, but
we are.
Everything I've heard about that game makes me worry for Rocksteady.
All right, Tross, you're back. Again, is Harry Potter just too strong, or is this a sign that gamers aren't going to be bullied into what they can and cannot play?
I think it's a little bit of both, but Harry Potter's so strong. Like, it's the most well-grossing movie, like, series of all time, and it's just so nostalgic with the books and the movies. Just, Harry Potter's just great, and this game 100% deserved the sales.
Yeah, because 12 million sales is nothing to shake a stick at, because how many times we come back a year after a game is launched and saying, oh, they hit the 10 million mark. This broke 12 million in a week. So
yeah, it was crazy.
The sales numbers are there, so. All right, we're moving on to our next topic. Mortal Kombat 12 has been confirmed for a 2023 release. Joe is pumping his fist already. This is coming from IGN and written by Logan Plant. Mortal Kombat 12 is set to release this year, making 2023 an absolute juggernaut of a year for fighting games. Warner Brothers Discovery made the announcement during its earnings call. A clip from the call that's being passed around Twitter includes confirmation from Andrew Slabin, Warner Brothers Discovery's executive president of global investor and strategy. Try saying that 10 times fast. That Mortal Kombat 12 is slated for 2023. Quote, there's lots more to come, including the highly anticipated Mortal Kombat 12 and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League games that are also set for release this year with ambitious launch projections. Joe, we'll go to you first because you were pumping your fist as I was saying this.
I mean, this is going to be the greatest year for fighting game fans. We're getting a new Mortal Kombat, a new Street Fighter, and a new Tekken, all in the same calendar year. I don't think this has happened like in forever, because it's been a while. But fighting game fans are going to eat well at the table this year, let me tell you. And I am super pumped, but I'm also like, all right, so why wasn't this announced already? And they're like, okay, well, we got to at least tell them what we're working on at this point, because it's been like, we don't have anything to discuss in the earning call. Okay, we are making Mortal Kombat, just so you guys know. It is coming out this year. That's like subtlety. It's like, hey, yeah, we're working on this, and it's coming out this year. I don't know how much I believe it, but I don't know. I kind of thought the next Mortal Kombat game release would tie in more with the second feature film and when that releases, which is going to be, I believe, next year. So I thought maybe they would come out around the same time just to like build off those momentum. But I honestly see this dropping on in September, or September and I believe like that's when like Mortal Monday is. It's in September, or if it's going to come out in October, in that window where there's like not a lot of stuff in that window right now.
I've seen some people actually upset that this wasn't an Injustice game.
It breaks the mold, because it's been Mortal Kombat Injustice, Mortal Kombat Injustice, Mortal Kombat. This should have been the Injustice game,
right?
And I'm kind of upset too. I could have done, it could have been another Injustice game. I would have been fine with that. They've knocked all those out of the park, and I don't know if you can beat Injustice 2. It had the Ninja Turtles in it. Like, honestly, I'm like biased. Like, I played that game like a shit ton.
Biased. They're also upset. They're also upset that because they were thinking maybe there would be a possible Mortal Kombat versus DC game.
I don't know if they'll ever do it again. I don't know if Warner Brothers would let it happen again. As far as like letting
they can't get violent and bloody enough with the DC characters.
No, and I don't think Ed Boon would do it if he couldn't do what he wanted with the game this time around. I mean, he was the last two the DC superheroes game was it Mortal Kombat versus DC heroes or superheroes, and then the second one was the two Injustice games. So they made 3 games with DC, and they did well. They sold well, but I don't think Ed Boon was happy with those 3 games just because he couldn't do what he wanted with the characters. They couldn't kill Superman, couldn't kill anybody. Like, he was like, I can't blow Superman up, I can't kill Superman. Like, what am I doing here?
I thought they were. I mean, not that they were fatalities, but I thought they killed them. They just couldn't get gross with it.
You couldn't get gross, yeah.
But I think they actually died though.
I don't.
No, I think they just got knocked out.
No, it just got knocked out.
Well, as an example, the Joker's fatality, right? He had like a bang gun, like a fake prop gun at first. It had said bang, and then he pulled out a real gun and shot the person in the head. The only problem was, didn't it go off screen? So it didn't show the person getting shot in the head.
Well, didn't it like pull out a bigger gun and then a bigger gun and then it blew up the world or whatever?
Something like
I don't remember.
Wasn't that Joker's fatality? I thought it was. Yeah,
he did a joke gun and then he pulled out he did a joke gun, then he pulled out a real gun. And
yeah, that was a cool fatality. That was his. He was really cool in that game, and he controlled really well. I loved playing as Joker. I'm excited for Mortal Kombat 12. I am super amped. I don't know if this year it might be a good idea for them to come out this year. You got Tekken 7 or Tekken 8, which looks absolutely phenomenal, and Street Fighter 6 looks so good. I cannot wait till June. Like, my wallets are going to be so empty in June between Street Fighter 6 and Final Fantasy 16.
And apparently people are drooling over Cammy.
Oh, she looks so good.
People have probably always been drooling over Cammy.
She's my favorite character besides no, I think she is my favorite character.
But didn't Cammy, like, isn't she like in U.S. military?
No, she's from the UK. She's from the UK.
She's always been from the UK?
Yeah, she's British military.
I thought go back and look at Street Fighter 2 when she was introduced, and go look at her stage. It's very much American.
Okay, well, I always thought she was just in the same unit as Guile. So anyway,
hold on, I do have a question for Joe.
Okay.
I don't have much to say on Mortal Kombat. It depends on the roster, if they have the right roster, because I know that a lot of the fan base is looking for the 3D characters who haven't been in the game or in the games to come back. So they are asking for a few, like Ashura. I've seen Onaga come up. I've seen even some people ask for Shujinko. But Joe, do you think? Huh?
Some deep cuts.
Yeah, I played Deception. Come on now, my boy Joe. The number one requested character to come back in Mortal Kombat 12. Is he going to be on there? Do you know who he is? He's from Deception.
Barichiro?
No.
Who is it?
His name starts with an H. It's Havoc.
Oh, Havoc?
I think I've seen on the list, he's the number one requested character to come back.
That's an interesting thing. I liked Havoc. Havoc was cool. He was a cool character. I like Barichiro though. I hope they bring Barichiro back again. He was really cool.
Yeah, but do you think Havoc's going to be in the game?
I don't
I need
know.
it.
I don't know what Ed Boon's gonna do. He rumored and said that he was gonna take things back to basics and not build off of the last two games, and it was gonna reset the character roster, and they were gonna try some new things. So, who knows what they're gonna do ultimately? I think they should just build off of what they did for the last two games because they were phenomenal games, and I want to see them continue that story arc. But it really kind of wrapped up kind of nicely where they could just kind of reset themselves if they wanted to. I don't think they need to reset themselves as much as the movie did, where you put in a character no one gives a shit about.
That movie was horrible.
It wasn't horrible. I just don't give a shit about the main character.
It was horrible.
It was like okay, so the movie reminded me of playing Mortal Kombat Deception with Chujinko, because he was basically Chujinko. It was like, hey, let's put this generic dude. Let's give him like superpowered arms, and then he's gonna fight everybody. But he's just new.
It was bad.
We have to have a driving plot character because the tournament doesn't drive itself.
It was bad, Joe. Just say it was bad.
It wasn't bad.
Stop lying to yourself.
I'm not lying. You know what? Let me talk.
You know what? You have too much Corey influence in you. That movie was bad.
Listen, I love martial arts movies and kung fu movies. My dad raised me right. I watched them as a kid a lot, and I thought the martial arts and the fighting scenes in those movies were top notch and well done, like super well done. Like the opening fight between Sub-Zero and Scorpion, absolutely phenomenal. Like absolutely phenomenal.
Tross, do you care about Mortal Kombat 12?
I'm not really big in the fighting games, but I'm not gonna lie. Street Fighter 6 looks so good. It looks so good. And because of that, I might get into Mortal Kombat. This might be my first Mortal Kombat that I actually buy and get into. Not gonna lie.
Alex, if Mortal Kombat 12 has Havoc, are you going to play it?
I mean, that will certainly increase the likelihood. That's the one thing they could do to make me jump back into Mortal Kombat. Because I played Mortal Kombat 9, and look, I'm not going to lie, those trophy lists for all those games suck really bad.
Yeah, they do.
So
especially the one where you had to play 24 hours with every character.
Yeah. No, I don't want to do that. So, I mean, depends on what the trophy... I don't imagine this one's going to be any easier. They're probably going to make it hard as hell because they expect people who like Mortal Kombat to really dig into the combat. And to be fair, that's one of the reasons I don't play a lot of fighting games anymore, because I used to play Soul Calibur and Tekken and all this stuff. I would buy every game and just go through the arcade mode with every character and unlock them, but I never put any time into learning the moves or remembering the movesets. I just kind of spam shit. So that's kind of why I stepped away from fighting games in the first place. But Havoc is the one singular character and the best thing they could do to get me back into Mortal Kombat, because he has not been playable since Deception, which is why a lot of people are asking for him. And Deception had a lot of crappy characters, I'm not going to lie.
Yes,
but
it did.
Havoc and Ashra are two of the ones that were actually really well liked, and Onaga too. So they had a few in there that people are actually really excited to see again.
All right. So at this point, we are going to throw it over to our Facebook page and ask that ultimate question. Hey,
Time to check my social media, yeah.
I actually
hate that soundbite.
I actually did that on purpose to mess it up just to see Joe's reactions.
I hate that soundbite so much.
Tross, what do you think of the soundbite?
I love it. Just because it's so annoying.
Joe doesn't love nice things. All right, so coming from our Facebook page, we have one question, and I think only me and Joe are going to be able to answer this because I don't know Tross's opinion. But Matt G wants to know, who do you think is going to win the Stanley Cup this year? Joe, because he can't be patient and answer it on the damn show, is showing a gif of the Devils. Joe?
I don't honestly think they're going to win the Stanley Cup. They could, but do I honestly think that's going to happen this year? Not really. It's probably going to be another West team. You know what it's not going to be? A Canadian team, because they never fucking win.
Oh, come on. Give the Maple Leafs a chance.
They're Canadian. They have about as much of a chance to win a Stanley Cup as the rest of the Canadian teams, which is this much. This much every year.
As much as I'd like to say my beloved Rangers, the way they've been playing lately, I think they've been struggling. I think they rattled off like 9 games in a row. No, 10 games in a row where they got at least a point and they won 7 games straight. And then they went on a 3-game loser streak. And they wound up winning today. They beat the Kings as revenge as revenge to the 2014 finals, where the Kings cheated their way to a Stanley Cup.
They just forechecked the shit out of you, and you just could your guys, your Tortorella guys, couldn't block shots anymore.
Listen,
getting so
there was
all the shots they were throwing at.
There was 5 games in that series, and 3 of those games went to double overtime. You're not going to tell me they weren't equally matched.
Your coach was fucking terrible.
It was
had your guys diving to block shots all year. So by the time you got to the playoffs, you guys were all banged up. Like, I hate Torts so much. He has a weird coaching style.
Torts wasn't the coach then.
Yes, he was. Torts was your coach when you was the coach.
No, it was AV.
It was. No, it was Torts.
Hold on.
It was Torts because you had that diving style that year where like every play you guys were diving in front of pucks. It was definitely Torts.
It was Torts.
No, it was AV.
I thought it was Torts that year.
No, it was AV.
And oh yeah, Torts you didn't make the cup finals. That's right.
Right.
Don't
Don't question my Ranger knowledge.
Listen, we at least we got into 6 games. Would you play 5 games against them?
Yeah, but 3 of those games went to double overtime, so you can kind of say we played 7.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Tross, you have an opinion about the Stanley Cup Finals?
No. I'm a college football fan. Gotta shout out my Georgia Bulldogs. Love them to death. 2 natties, waiting for another third. That's my sport right there.
And Alex, you don't give a shit, do you?
No, I mean, whoever wins. I mean, I can't pick a team because I can't necessarily be like, oh yeah, I hope Joe's team wins, and oh yeah, I hope Tricky's team wins. Like, I mean, I don't have a dog in this race or a horse in this race. So
listen, if the Rangers get to the finals, you better damn cheer the Rangers.
No, just in spite.
Yeah, I'm not.
Tross, you're supposed to be my brother. What
I'm
the
not gonna
fuck?
cheer I don't care enough. I mean,
what the fuck, Tross?
I like fucking with you.
Look, he did say he was your. He said he was your brother from another mother, and this is what siblings do. They fight. They give each other shit.
Exactly.
What'd you say, Joe?
I said 94 and never more.
I fucking hate you. They should have won in 14. That's all I'm saying.
No, they shouldn't. They were not the better team that year.
They absolutely fucking were. That call against Zuccarello, when he got called for a trip, when he's the one to hit the ice, when the Rangers are up 2 goals, all of a sudden, they score on the power play, and then immediately score right after that, tie up the game, and go to double overtime. You're not going to convince me the calls were not against the Rangers in that series.
We both lost to them. We lost in 12. You lost in 14. We both couldn't beat them. Their forechecking was just out of this world, and they just kept the puck in their zone so much. It was just impossible to beat them. Impossible. That team was built like an early 2000s team. That was a very good team, that Kings team, and they seem to be that way again this year. Very good, very fast, very skilled.
All right,
they're gonna do some damage in the playoffs.
All right, we're gonna throw it across the pond to Mr. Gareth for the update. We're not doing it on the live show, so Alex take this part out. But we're gonna throw it across the pond to Gareth for the trophy update. We'll see you guys in 18 minutes. All right, we're back. Thank you, Gareth, for all that. Joe, stop laughing. You're messing up
That's the quickest 18 minutes ever.
You're messing up You're messing it up for the audio version. All right. So we're gonna go into our topic of the week, which was the Sony State of Play, which I can almost guarantee Alex did not watch.
Man, you know me oh so well.
It's nothing.
All right. So let's talk about the things that were announced at the State of Play. They started off by announcing, I think it was 5 VR games. But I'm just going to go in the order that IGN has it. This article was written by Logan Plant. Rocksteady shares an extended look at Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. We'll get our opinions on that in a second because I have a subtopic for this. Capcom revealed 3 more Street Fighter 6 characters. They included Cammy, Lily, and Zangief. Baldur's Gate 3 was announced and coming out on August 31st. New Resident Evil 4 trailer confirmed the return of Mercenaries mode. Bungie revealed Destiny 2's Lightfall launch trailer ahead of the next week's launch. So Sony also revealed 5 new games coming to the PSVR this year. They include Green Hell. Tetris Effect developers revealed a new project called Humanity. Tisha is launching into the PlayStation Plus extra tiers this March. Goodbye Volcano High is coming to the PS5 and PS4 on June 15th. Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections gets a new trailer. And we have a new trailer for the Digital Extreme and Airship Syndicate's Wayfinder. Let me go back and try to find all the names for the VR games. Even though I know Alex doesn't care about VR. Joe, I don't think you care about VR. Tross, I don't think you care about VR.
Nope.
Let's see. The first, all right, so we got Foglands, which was a haunted first-person shooter. Showing combat against skeletons, spiders, and more. So you know Tricky's not playing that fucking game. We got a VR survival game called Creed Hell. We got a fast-paced first-person shooter with some telekinesis powers called Synapse. We got a sci-fi game based on the iconic Foundation series by Isaac Asimov, titled Journey to Foundation. It showed shooting and stealthing around a space station. And the last game shown was Before Your Eyes, a colorful interactive adventure about memories where every time you blink, you jump forward in time. So don't try not to blink in that game. All right, so going back to the main thing shown at the State of Play, which is Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. There are a lot of people that are not happy with this in an opinion piece, which I'm going to read pretty much in its entirety. So I'm going to try to go through this as quick as I can because I know, Joe's showing something. He's too close to the camera. No one cares. All right. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read part of this. This is an opinion piece by Matt Kim. Says Sony State of Play showcases aren't much watch events yet. He says, in recent years, video game companies like Nintendo and PlayStation have set expectations for any pre-recorded shows by announcing beforehand what kind of stream viewers should expect, whether focused on indie games, third-party titles, or about a certain game. This has been a welcome change as it sets appropriate expectations for an upcoming Nintendo Direct or State of Play showcase. After all, no one will expect to see a new Zelda trailer during a Splatoon 3 Direct. Sony did this too for its most recent State of Play earlier this week, announcing that the show will primarily focus on PSVR 2, Rocksteady's Suicide Squad, and some indie and third-party games. But if the recent State of Play showcase has demonstrated anything, it's that there's a difference between setting the right expectations and making it so your viewers should have no expectations at all. Let's start with the VR 2, which was just released to critical acclaim. Having spent a few hours with it myself, I can tell you that the tech underlying Sony's newest VR headset is definitely something to write home about. Still, much has been made about the launch lineup of games, which consists of one of new first-party releases, which is Horizon Call of the Mountain, and several releases that are readily available on rival headsets. When PlayStation announced the State of Play would showcase 5 new VR 2 titles, the expectation would be that at least one of them would be a showstopper, meant to highlight a high-end product that was just released. Instead, the lineup consisted of titles that are easily slotted into the rest of PlayStation 2 VR's launch offerings. When I spoke to my colleague Brian Altano to discuss the State of Play, he daptly said, quote, "The State of Plays, in general, have largely settled into a groove with their format, but it isn't a great groove. They're largely missing the fun surprise element that a Nintendo Direct have," end quote. If the new VR2 reveals were a letdown for you as it was for me, it has to do with what I think is a disconnect between what Sony considers a surprise versus what the audience expects in an appropriate surprise. Okay, so let me skip ahead here real quick, because there was something else I wanted to say. The second headliner in the State of Play is Rocksteady's Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, a game that has few surprises left ahead of its May release date. The extended gameplay reveal did not share information that wasn't previously known, and the elements that were confirmed, that it will be a live service game with battle passes and gear levels, has been more of a concern to players than a point of excitement. The reveal wasn't even Warner Brothers' biggest of the day, as the company announced that Mortal Kombat 2 would be released later that year. The reason for PlayStation State of Plays has been what they are is completely understandable and self-defeating. As owners of the most popular gaming platform and an inevitable stable of first-party studios, Sony must work to double ensure the fans come into State of Plays with the right expectations, lest they leave completely disappointed that there's no surprise God of War or The Last of Us or Ghost of Tsushima announcement. But by being so cautious about the inflated expectations, Sony has created a series of showcases bereft of any surprises, making me wonder if State of Plays are even necessary at this point when I get more information from a PlayStation blog. Alright, there's more to the article, but go give that a click. Alex, we'll start with you. I mean, obviously, you don't watch the State of Plays. You go back and, you may get the piece here, a piece there, but you don't watch them. Are your feelings aligned with Matt here, or you just not have the time to watch them? What is your reason for not watching the State of Plays?
There's nothing that they've shown, and they've given me no reason to stop what I'm doing in the course of my day to sit down and watch State of Play. I think you and I watched one together, and we commented on it.
We did.
So, I mean, if we're going to schedule something, be like, hey, because this one you were like, hey, are you going to be here? Are you free at this time? It's like, I'm taking my car for service, and no, I'm not going to be home. So I just wasn't able to. I wasn't home when this one was on, but still, like, Sony just doesn't do enough to get me to stop what I'm doing to sit down for one of these. What I will do is, if there's anything I'm interested in, I will go back and look at it afterwards. But this was just not for me. I don't care about Suicide Squad. And as far as the VR stuff, I understand the VR is coming out and they need to push it and they need to market the hell out of it, especially if it's going to be successful. And people are worried that Sony's not going to support it after a while, so they need to show it proper support. The problem with VR is, and having an entire State of Play about VR, or at least mostly about VR, is that a very, very small percentage of the people who own PlayStation products are VR users. And yeah, they still need to support those users to get people to buy in, to the product in the first place, and also to have more people pick up the product. And I think that having something like Suicide Squad and a few other games on this is a recognition that, okay, we can't have an entire thing dedicated to VR because it's just, again, a small part of our audience. But even if you have stuff like that on there, if I know it's going to be a lot of VR, or you don't make a big deal out of it, like, oh, hey, we're going to be talking about Horizon or the next Horizon game on this, I have little reason to watch. So that's I don't think that every State of Play is like that, but I definitely think that they could. The article makes good points, and I agree in general. But I think that Sony could do a lot more by saying specifically, this is what's going to be on the State of Play, unless it's a big reveal. Like if they went to NetherRealm and to Warner Brothers and said, hey, we would like to have just an announcement that Mortal Kombat 12 is coming out this year. Can we do that on our show? I mean, you may not have a lot. You may have just a short trailer or something like that, but can we just make that announcement? And, some surprise like that. I understand not announcing it ahead of time, but if people know about a game like Wolverine, you should say ahead of time, State of Play is going to have Wolverine on it, and I don't know how well they do that because I mean, Tricky shares the State of Play with us, but for the most part, they keep people in the dark about what's going to be on the State of Play because we were in our chat, me, Yield, and Tricky, we were trying to guess as to what was going to be on there, because Horizon Burning Shores, I think we said it was coming out in February. It's not coming out in February. It's coming out April 23rd is when that's coming out. So we were way wrong about that on a previous show we were talking about. But, we were guessing as to what they could possibly be showing because we just don't know. And if I don't know what they're showing, the mystery doesn't entice me to come spend my time because for the most part, State of Plays haven't been for me, or I haven't, I've been fine just not watching them. I've been fine not giving them my time. So if you're going to want a lot of people to sit down and watch, tell them when it comes up that Spider-Man's going to be the big focus of this, or that Wolverine's going to be the big focus of this, So let people prepare ahead of time. Instead of like people just to be enticed by the mystery.
All right, before I throw it to Tross, I my opinion on this is, I think, at least in what Matt kept saying in this article, is I think Sony does tell you what the State of Play is going to be, and people are overthinking it, thinking, okay, it's actually going to be more, and it's not more. Sony outright said, this is going to focus on VR2. We're going to have 15 minutes of Suicide Squad, and we're going to announce this. And that's exactly what they delivered. Then you come back and say, well, we were expecting this, system seller for the VR too. That's not what they said. Like, I think people need to gauge their expectations better with this, because Sony said exactly what it was going to be, and they delivered. And then the people are bitching, well, I know that's what you said, but I wanted a surprise. And now you're bitching because you didn't get the surprise. Tross, I'll throw the floor to you.
I think the whole bitching about the surprise thing is like, think about that year where God of War 2018 was announced and when Spider-Man was announced, and they had all those surprises. I think people are thinking back to that.
But that was an E3 setting, though. That wasn't a state of play. That was a big stage show. You expect surprises there.
Well, I know, but I don't even. Are they even doing E3 anymore? I
No.
thought they stopped it, right?
All three big companies have officially said they're not going to E3 this year.
Yeah, so their state of plays or their Nintendo Directs or whatever Xbox. I don't know what Xbox does. Their big showcase, that is their E3. But it's spread out throughout the months. So they gotta have to have. They need some surprises, thrown in every now and then. It would have been nice to see, maybe at the very end, a little tease of what is it, Spider-Man 2 or Wolverine, just showing that, hey, because they said Spider-Man's coming out this year. So it'd be nice to get a little tease, another trailer for it, just to say hey, we're confirming that it's coming out, all that good stuff, because that's my biggest anticipated game of the year is Spider-Man 2. So it'd be nice to hear some information about that. But going off of the PSVR, it's I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to drop another $500 for another system. And then I'm excited. I'm excited about Suicide Squad, but the moment they said that there's a gear system, I immediately thought back to Avengers and I was like, oh, there's going to be microtransactions. And it scares the ever-living shit out of me that they mentioned that. And they're like, oh, and then we have cosmetics and microtransactions. It's just another Avengers game. Rocksteady needs to prove us wrong. Or because I can't have another Avengers.
All right, Joe.
Where do I start? One, I don't give a fuck about VR. So 10 minutes of that direct was just garbage to me, or that state of play was just garbage. I was just all right. And I watched it after it was over, so I was like, all right, VR, don't care. Okay, cool, now I can start. Oh, a dinosaur game? That's just Dinosaur Life is Strange, don't care. Next game, don't care. Then it was Naruto. It was didn't we already get 3 of these? And this is all of them, or 4 of them, and this is all of them mashed together? Really don't care. I'll probably buy it anyway because I'm a sucker, and Namco and Bandai knows that, so I'll probably buy it. But I was I don't care. And then we got to the meat and potatoes, which I was really? Suicide Squad is your meat and potatoes? Where the fuck is Parasite Eve remastered? Where is it, Sony? Where is it, Square? It's got to be somewhere, right? Somewhere in the lab cooking up. Where's the next set of Sony games? Because we got through all the launch stuff now. That's done. What's next? That's what we don't know. We don't know what's next. And that scares me because Microsoft, we know what's next. Nintendo, we know what's at the end of the rainbow. And the rainbow is ending and we'll probably get a new Nintendo soon. But I feel Sony's not really showing their hand right now, and I don't know if that's because they're waiting till E3 or what they're gonna do going forward. But the state of plays are just so they're just missed every time. I don't care. And you trying to show me 10 minutes of a game I was already gonna buy anyway because it's Suicide Squad, that's not gonna make me want to buy it even more. Actually, the microtransaction made me want to buy it even less because just like Tross, I was oh shit, this is Avengers 2.0. Didn't they see what happened with Avengers? Didn't they see where Square fucked up? Besides not supporting the game, that's one thing. Maybe they'll support this. Avengers had a nice roadmap, they just never followed. And then they were oh yeah, you get all these characters and all this stuff's gonna come, and then we never got any of it. And I'm okay. And then, what's really effed up about Avengers? I'm going to go on a side tangent. Sorry, Tricky. They couldn't even have the audacity to give everybody Spider-Man at the end. You couldn't do that? You couldn't be hey, Sony, we're shutting this game down. Can we just give everybody Spider-Man now so everybody can play as Spider-Man?
Sony owns them.
It doesn't matter. The game's
Can I add
dead.
a
Who
little thing to that
cares?
too? They even remember how they're going to release the all the skins for free, but
Uh-huh.
then they had the balls to say, "Oh, here's all the skins for $80 extra." It's insane, but sorry.
And then is Suicide Squad gonna be the same bullshit? Like, I'm scared now because I really wanted to get this game, and I really like the Suicide Squad, and I think they can put out a really decent game with Rocksteady behind it. And if they could just stay away from microtransactions, that would be great.
But I'm sorry. I know this is probably going to turn into a little bit of an argument, but why is everybody convinced that microtransactions are so bad?
Because I want more games, Tricky. I don't want one game as a platform. I don't like this 2022, 21, 23 bullshit where everything's a game as a service now. I don't want that. I want video games.
Okay,
I don't want a subscription model.
Okay, I get that, but you look at a game like Division 2, which me and Tross have been playing since launch. That game keeps coming up with content. We still go back and play it. Granted, we take breaks. I mean, Tross was at a 21-day break once. Calling you out.
Talk about that.
But yeah, but they keep releasing content. Like, I kind of get what you're saying, Joe, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but if you find a game that you really, really enjoy playing, I don't understand why people are like, no, don't release microtransactions, keep this going. Let's just kill it off and start the next game. Well, the next game may be fucking broken. The next game might not be the way you did. When I went from Division 1 to Division 2, it was a learning curve because I was so used to the way my character played on Division 1 using my Predator gear set. And then I had to switch over to Hardwired, which actually Hardwired didn't even come out until, 2 years after the game came out? Like, it's... I hear people go, oh, stay away from microtransactions. And in my mind, I'm going... I don't give a fuck about microtransactions. The only time I care about microtransactions is if it's a pay-to-win situation. If you're giving me cosmetics or you're giving me this, it's solely my choice whether or not to fucking buy it. And one of the things that Alex always bitches about, so to speak, is like he plays Rocket League and you have to pay $10, $15 for a goal explosion.
You have to pay $20, in some cases $22.
That's insane. But
oh, I thought you were going to come at me for that.
No. What I'm saying, that's insane. But it's solely up to Alex whether or not he wants to buy that. And if they weren't selling, they wouldn't keep fucking putting them out. So obviously they're selling. So when you look at the market and you say, okay, do we spend $10 million developing the next Rocket League 2? Or do we spend, I don't know, 10 man hours developing a new goal explosion, and we could put that out, and that's going to recoup our money without us putting $10 million investment in a game that may or may not work? Why not do the microtransactions? It's solely up to us whether we buy them, and obviously they're fucking selling because they keep putting them out.
Yeah, but these games and services are they're like killing the industry because then people don't want to take gambles on games where you just make a game now. And people can't just make the game they want to make anymore because if it's not going to sell, then they're not going to make it.
Okay, and I get that, but what's the fucking argument that we always have when it comes to video games? You get a new game announced by you get a new IP announced by a developer, and it's like, no, why didn't we get a fucking sequel for this game? Then they make the sequel, and it's like, oh no, why'd you make a fucking sequel? We want a new IP. It's a never-ending start. So if you find lightning in a bottle with a fucking game, support the shit out of it. That's how you're gonna make your fucking money.
No, I get you at that argument. It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Because if you make 25 Assassin's Creeds, nobody gives a fuck. But if they don't make the second version of Days Gone, everyone's in an uproar.
Right.
Where's the sequel to Days Gone? I'm
Like, where the fuck is the sequel to
Days Gone? They would have made another one.
Where's the fucking sequel to Order 1886?
Right?
Yeah.
That game deserved a sequel.
That game does deserve a sequel. I love that game too. I think we're all in agreement on that. But I don't know, Tricky. It just baffles me that they'll keep making microtransactions for Rocket League, but with the money they developed on all that stuff, or the money they're making, they could fund another game easily if they wanted to.
Right, but why would they when Alex, and I'm not trying to speak for Alex, but Alex and Yield have both fucking said, we don't want a Rocket League 2. There's no need for it. So why would they make a Rocket League 2 when Rocket League is still successful?
I don't think they need to make Rocket League 2 tricky. I just think they need to take some of that funding and go make something else.
And I think too with the whole microtransaction thing, it's people don't. I don't think they don't mind about the whole live service. I think it's the whole. They're afraid, like what Avengers did, right? They'll lock some of the best gear behind a paywall, right? The whole pay to win stuff, and they could do that at Rocksteady, like they did with Assassin's Creed, right? With Origins, Syndicate, not Syndicate, Odyssey and Valhalla, where some of the most exotic gear you had to pay for. You know what I mean? And I could see if Rocksteady really wants to, that's what people are afraid of, that they're going to do stuff like that, where they're going to put the best gear behind a paywall or a battle pass or season pass, whatever you want to call it nowadays. And they put like just crazy amount of cosmetics that people will want. Like they showcased the Harley Quinn and the Wonder Woman outfit. People are going to want that, and they're going to like say charge $10 for it. It's like, I think that's what people are worried about, not the whole like live service stuff.
Okay,
in
but
my opinion.
But Tross,
You want to go ahead, Chuck? You want me to?
yeah, I just want to say something with Tross. Tross, we both know that come Tuesday, we're both paying $10 to fucking play the next Battle Pass for Division 2.
That's true.
So and we don't even fucking know what's in it yet. They haven't announced it. They're doing the announcement tomorrow. But me and you both know we're spending $10 on Tuesday.
That's true.
So when you have the argument about battle passes and shit like that, I get if it becomes a pay-to-win situation. I fully understand that and the anger, and I'm with everybody with that because pay-to-win is bullshit. But if it's just cosmetic shit, and Joe, you've heard me say this many times, and you even mentioned this on the show last week when I wasn't here, I am a full supporter of, if you like a game, buy it at full fucking price, support the shit out of it, because that shows the developer and the publisher that there's a demand for this game. Fuck, Hogwarts Legacy 2 has already been greenlit. And the game hasn't even been out in the fucking market for 2 weeks yet. 12 million sales said, we need a sequel to this game.
They greenlit a show, too. I mean,
you have to support the developers, and microtransactions is a way to support the developer. I'm sorry. You're not going to convince me it's not.
It's a slippery slope, though. Gamers so here's how I equate microtransactions in a single-player game. You remember that bullshit when they started going, hey, this game needs a multiplayer aspect, when it's not a multiplayer game?
I agree.
That's what they're doing now, microtransactions.
There should not have been a
single-player game.
There should not have been a multiplayer with The Last of Us.
In my single-player game. I don't want microtransactions in my motherfucking single-player games. I don't want them. Period. And they're predatory. That's what they are. I bought a single-player game. I plopped down $70 to play a single-player adventure. I don't want microtransactions. Like, that's what people are pissed about.
So don't buy them. They're not forcing you to buy them.
Like, make the skins unlockable in combat missions. Like, it's like everything has to be money.
Okay, well, and I want to defend Avengers real quick.
I can't defend that game.
No. Listen, Avengers has their own problem, but...
That game did you dirty, Tricky. That game took you outside. That game took you out for dinner and never called you again.
Okay.
That game did.
Okay. Avengers had its problems and still has its problems. But the one thing they did do was through playing the game, you could unlock enough. I don't remember what the in-game currency to unlock the track for the next DLC player. So there were 6 characters, and as long as you got to the end of the track with each of 6, each DLC character, you could either pay $10 to unlock their cosmetic track, or you had enough in-game credits to buy it. So I never spent another dime on Avengers after I bought it, but that's the way to do it. And Alex, back me up on this. Rocket League does the same thing, where you pay the $10 battle pass for the Rocket Pass, and then if you get high enough, you could actually get the next Rocket Pass for free. Alex. We lost Alex.
Oh, we lost Alex.
He might have stepped away because we were arguing. We'll come back to that. Oh.
Yeah, I do think that that's correct. If you earn enough stuff in the Rocket League in the Battle Pass, you get the next one for free. That's mostly any Battle Pass that they've done that for. Like that was Fortnite thing, that was a Avengers thing. Yeah, I don't know, man. Avengers just left me with such a sour taste in my mouth because of what they promised for that game and what they actually delivered. That I just don't want any games like this anymore. Period. Like Avengers is so dirty that like I just don't like. And you gotta think like that's Marvel and Square. Like they're not strapped for cash or development time.
Hold on a second.
Like,
Yield, Joe, your voice just changed. Like your microphone changed or something.
I'm good on my end. Did we get dropped? Did we get dropped completely?
I could hear you. I could have a conversation with you, but I don't know. Alex got dropped. I'm trying to find out what's going to him.
Oh yeah, my mic got switched to my headset somehow. Huh.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Your voice just changed like mid conversation.
Yeah, that's weird.
Popped
out.
All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know how long ago we lost Alex, so he might not be able to come back into this conversation. But I don't know. It's like the whole conversation with microtransactions. It really pisses me off because you don't have to buy them. And
I'm just saying they shouldn't be there in the first place.
Listen, if like oh, we got Alex back. Alex, maybe we got you back, Alex.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, I don't know when did we lose you because I don't know.
Just like maybe 2 minutes ago.
Okay, so I think Joe confirmed it, but with Rocket League, if you buy the Battle Pass, if you get high enough in the levels, you could get the next Rocket Pass for free. Correct?
Yeah, you stop getting credits back at as a reward at 110. So anybody who goes beyond that can't earn more than the $10 to then put towards other things. So if you buy the first Rocket Pass for $10 and then you go through and get up to tier 110 in every single season, you've earned your $10 back, and you can then use that $10 to put towards next season's Battle Pass.
All right, so now that you answered that, you've been kind of quiet on the entire conversation so far. Are your thoughts or anything you want to respond to as far as microtransactions?
I don't think microtransactions are inherently bad. Do I want to see every game have microtransactions? No. I mean, it is your choice as to whether or not you want to spend money on microtransactions, but I don't want every single game. It's the evolution of the game, the video game industry. You have your standard AAA releases, you have indie games, you have free-to-play games that then rely on microtransactions. The industry's big enough where all of them can, live together and be a part and like basically puzzle, pieces in a giant puzzle. Like they can all exist within the same universe. But do I want to see every game, become a microtransaction-filled game? Well, no, I don't want to see them charging a bunch of extra, armors and stuff for Dead Space. I don't want to see them, it's the theory that, they make a game and then they cut out pieces of it to sell you later as DLC. I don't want to see that. Like, just, a lot of times I just want you to release the full game. The full game is $70. I pay for it, I play it, and I move on to the next game. So microtransactions aren't a bad thing. It's just because some people have abused them, we have come to look at them with a very skeptical eye. So if someone's like nervous about microtransaction or like, I really don't like these, or always kind of, leers at them, I get it, because not everybody uses microtransactions in the proper way. And you look at Rocket League, all that stuff to me, or at least most of it, is way too expensive. And yeah, sure, you'll get new items in the Rocket Pass, but for the most part, in the featured shop, for the items that, you can buy on a daily basis, a lot of times you see a lot of the same stuff. It doesn't seem like they're creating a lot of new content for the shop. They're just relying on a lot of old stuff and then making new content for the Rocket Pass. So it seems like in that regard, the well's running a little dry for Rocket League, but I don't hate microtransactions, but they definitely have a proper way that they need to be used and leveraged, and just like spamming them to try to make money off of people. And, some of the ways that they get kids or younger adults to buy into this, just kind of like preying on them, so to speak. It's definitely a dirtier aspect of the video games industry. But then again, there are a lot of people who don't, push that. There are a lot of games that don't use that. A lot of developers who don't take part in that. So again, it's just, you don't support something, don't buy it. You don't like it, don't buy it. But the industry can definitely do a lot better with, not making people hate microtransactions. So yeah, that's kind of my spiel there. Not a bad thing, but I can understand why some people don't like them. And I don't think there's not a place for microtransactions in every single game. Not every single game needs cosmetics or anything like that. So, and I think that there needs to be a serious conversation within the industry, for people like Epic Games. Are you overcharging for skins because you can? Are you overcharging for goals in Rocket League because you can? So that's kind of my thing about it.
All right. Well, at this time, we're going to wrap up the show and move on to our shout-outs. But before we do that, if you leave your comments on this post and let us know what you guys think about microtransactions, we'll be sure to include it in next week's show. All right, so let's wrap up the show and do our shout-outs. Joe, we'll start with you, sir.
Shout out to you guys. Thanks for having me on. As always, it's a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you, Tricky. Thank you, Alex. Yield, wish you were here, buddy. See you soon.
He's too busy watching midget wrestling.
That's awesome. I mean, that's awesome. Tross, awesome.
I didn't know that Yield was a fan of AEW.
All right, fuck my shout out. Okay, cool.
No, I just had
say that to Will Hobbs' face. Say that to
I just basically had to say AEW sucks.
Dude, Powerhouse Hobbs is amazing. You leave the man alone.
It's a great day to be a Powerhouse Hobbs fan.
He's a grown ass man.
If only Tony Khan would use him more instead of Kenny Omega and the freaking
Who the
Young
fuck
Bucks.
is Powerhouse Hobbs?
Amazing, that's what he is.
Go look up Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, and you would love to have both those dudes in WWE.
Listen, I want Keith Lee back because they're not doing anything with my boy. But I don't want to turn this into a wrestling podcast right now because we're already in like almost 2 hours. It was shout out to the Devils for kicking ass and staying ahead of the Rangers. Suck it, Tricky.
Are they ahead of the Rangers?
Yes, we're in second in the conference.
Okay. Is that your shout-outs?
Yeah, that's my shout outs.
Tross, your shout-out, sir.
Shout out to you guys, of course. Shout out to Tricky for letting me on the show. Alex, great time. Like we did the God of War podcast. It's a good time. Good people with Joe. Just a good shout out. Shout out to my wife for letting me do this because I know she's dying to watch The Last of Us. And yeah, that's a good shout out. That's all shout outs.
Alex, your shout-outs.
Give a shout out to the community, the fuel to the fire that's Trophy Horrors. Without them, this show would not exist and continue on forward. I mean, I say it every week. I know it sounds scripted at this point, but I mean, the show and the community exists because of you all. So, I mean, we may have lit this fire, I should say, Tricky and Donnie and other folks may have lit this fire, but you all are the ones that pouring gasoline on it. So thank you, as always, for your continued support. I'll give a shout out to Tricky, to Yield, who was not here with us this week. A shout out to Homer, who took the dive and got himself a PlayStation 5. Congratulations, sir. A shout out to Joe for coming on for the second week in a row, sir. It's good to have you on as always. And a big shout out to Tross. Thank you for coming on. We had some great talk on the God of War podcast. Good to have you back on. And congratulations to you and your wife on expecting a beautiful, healthy baby. So
Appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah, and again, and another reason to thank you for spending time with us because you guys got some. You could have been spending tonight playing video games or watching. Getting ready for The Last of Us with your wife, but you spent it with us, so we appreciate that.
Appreciate you guys.
I think I actually saved him from having to paint a nursery tonight.
You did.
So wait, Tricky, you're gonna make his wife paint a nursery?
I'm not making his wife do a damn thing.
No.
I called him earlier and said, hey, do you want to be on the show? He goes, I got to paint a nursery. I said, can you ask your wife if I can borrow you for 2 hours? He's like, absolutely. There was not much fight in that conversation. Sorry, Mrs. Ross.
She's fine.
I'm sorry.
Last but not least, I want to give a shout out to my awesome and loving girlfriend, Ashley, who is waiting to watch The Last of Us. I love you, honey. And, yeah, shout-outs.
My shout-outs are to Sweet Mama D, who spent the last week with me while I was on vacation. Shout-out to the Goddess, who's patiently waiting for me to call her back because she called me before the show. Shout out to all the listeners. Thank you very much. Shout out to our Patreons. Thank you very much. You guys are helping out. If you guys want to go listen to the God of War spoiler or all the Last of Us recap shows, go subscribe at patreon.com/provengamer. Also, any merch you guys want to buy, I will provide a link for you in the summary. Other than that, thank you very much. And until next week, happy trophy hunting.
Later.
Check you later, guys.
See you guys.
The theme song is Venus by the band Even off their album Zenith. Permission granted by the band and 12 Stone Records. You can find them on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/evenphilippines.
Five seconds of silence. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. Oh shit. My Audacity just crashed.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's not good.
As I hit stop, it crashed.